close your eyes, relax, rest in the presence, and hold space.
Ganapataye Namo Namaha. Ganapataye Namo Namaha. Ganapataye Namo Namaha. Jai Ganesha Gananatha Dayaniti Sakala Vignya Karadura Amari. Jai Ganesha Gananatha Dayaniti Sakala Vignya Karadura Amari. Ganapataye Namo Namaha. 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 Omega Dantaya Vidmahi Vakrajandaya Dhimahi Tanno Danti Prachodayat. Ganapataye Namo Namaha. 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 Jai Ganesha Gananatha Dayaniti Sakala Vignya Karadura Amari. Jai Ganesha Gananatha Dayaniti Sakala Vignya Karadura Amari. Ganapataye Namo Namaha. 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 Om Vakratundaya Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha Nirvigyam Kuru Me Deva Karyeshu Sarvada. Ganapataye Namo Namaha. Gam Ganapataye Namo Namaha. Gam Ganapataye Namo Namaha. Jai Ganesha Gananata Dayaniti Sakala Vigna Karadura Hamari. 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 Namo Namaha. Gam Ganapataye Namo Namaha. Gam Ganapataye Namo Namaha. Gam Ganapataye Namo Namaha. Om
Namaste.
Namaste.
Welcome to our weekly online Satsang. Satsang being a Sanskrit word that means literally community of truth. But really it's a spiritual community of two or more people on the path of awakening and the flowering of the heart who come together to share their journeys. And that's us. The Flowering Heart Satsang has no formal membership or anything like that. We're just a place that people come on Monday nights from all over the world and from different continents, countries, and cultures. And we've transcended so many boundaries that would have made it impossible for us to just get together and meditate tonight before the internet. So it's wonderful. Of course, if you're here in Clearwater, you can join us in person on Wednesday nights when we have a different structured satsang. That's lovely. But we're so glad you're here. We strengthen one another exponentially when we share the presence of our own awakening spirits and hearts. It's just such an important part of our journey to share with one another the breakthroughs and the breakdowns, and to encourage and uplift and strengthen one another. To that end, we share throughout these webcast satsangs something we call the Flowering Heart Blessing, which is a direct transmission of divine awakened consciousness, light, grace, and unconditional love that catalyzes in the receiver the flowering of the heart in oneness with the divine. I can't think of anything better than that. So we're glad you're here. You're soaking in it right now. Most people are instantly aware just when they tune in, can feel that presence. And you know that's true when people watch the recording of these, because many, many, many more times the number of people watch between tonight and next Monday night when we do the next one, because they're in different time zones and have different responsibilities. It's just amazing, actually, lately how many people are coming in and watching these satsangs. It must be helping us. But the Flowering Heart Blessing, which is a gift of grace from the divine that catalyzes awakening and transformation of the flowering of the heart, it comes directly from the divine, so it's not filtered through any particular spiritual or religious tradition. It truly supports you right where you are. And the divine made it very clear to us that it's a gift of grace that the divine gives, so you don't get to charge for it. Don't charge for this, give it away. And tell people when they feel this presence, this grace, if they'd like to be instruments, if they'd like to be blessing givers of the Flowering Heart Blessing, all you need to do is receive one, and you're already activated and initiated. And if you're here, if you're there, you've already been receiving it. So please join us in flowing out the Flowering Heart Blessing to all the people that join us tonight. But in addition, hold a special intention for those who will be viewing the video recording. It will touch them with the same presence, the same energy, if they watch it 10 years from when this was done. Because the Flowering Heart Blessing is, sometimes we refer to it as energy, but it's spirit. It's pure consciousness. And spirit transcends time and distance. So it's exactly where you are whenever you are. Whereas if we were sending energy, prana or chi, that travels actually through time and space. It takes a while to get from here to Australia. The Flowering Heart Blessing, no, it's instantaneous. So please join us in sharing the blessing, not only here tonight, but all the time. If an ambulance goes by, you can send the Flowering Heart Blessing and ask for grace to assist. It's great for horses and pets, plants, trees, especially people. And if you don't have a blessing circle close to you, we encourage you to start one. We have a 36-minute initiation video on our website, floweringheart.org. It's right there on the homepage, the link to it. It's only 36 minutes long, and it gives more sort of in-depth understanding of the blessing, and a guided meditation of initiation. You could just invite a friend over or two, kick on your computer and hit play. You can download it, do whatever you want to do with it. But we recommend it because some of us in the beginning lack confidence in talking about things like spiritual blessings and waking up and our hearts flowering and all of that. And so it's nice to just let the computer talk for 36 minutes, and anyone that was there with you is getting it, and they got it, and they're ready to share blessing. And it's really wonderful to have a regular blessing group. It's essential to have a spiritual community that you resonate with, where you can come together in meditation, in prayer, and sharing the journey. So you can do it wherever you are, and that would be wonderful. Oh, look at all those hearts. I love it. However you do that, it's very nice. After the initial 10 minutes or so of silent meditation or just resting in the presence, holding space, well, that wonderful mantra plays. That's the actual title. It is Gam Ganapataye. Gam Ganapataye is the mantra for Ganesh, that jolly little Indian deity that's a chubby boy that's always like dancing around and has an elephant head. And he's the remover of obstacles for those on the spiritual journey. And he's just, well, he's my cup of tea. And we really like Ganesh. So we start with that mantra, and the music that was composed by our dear friend Angelica Schaefer. And she does wonderful sacred music of all traditions: Christian, Hindu, Muslim, Sufi, Buddhist, and more. So go to her website, which is Angelica
Healing Music.
AngelicaHealingMusic.com. And Angelica is with a K. Angelica Healing Music. She graciously has given Suzanne and me permission to use her music in any of our processes. And we generously do, especially when we're streaming, because there are all these copyright things going on these days. And you really have to have the permission of the artist. And we're very fortunate that Angelica is a dear friend and benefactor. Anyway, so after that, before I forget, because I've been forgetting sometimes, please, if you're on Facebook Live, give us a heart or a thumbs up or whatever other emoji speaks to you, because we like to go in at the end and see the names of whoever dropped in. In fact, I keep going in through the week to see additional people that give their names, and you get a little extra spiritual hug and blessing if we get to see your name. If you're on Vimeo, you could just add something in the chat. Hey, it's me. Send blessing. And we'd be so grateful. I don't think we have any other announcements. Good. So, the next part of our satsang will be coming up in just a few minutes, and that's questions and answers on the spiritual journey. The best questions pertain to your own journey and things you're experiencing or not experiencing and would like to, or just questions you have where you'd like some clarity and insight. And it sparks the conversation. It moves the divine always, because sometimes you guys will come up with questions and Suzanne and I are like, huh? And just a glance up and down comes some inspiration that I think is beneficial to all of us, because our journeys, while uniquely different, parallel one another. So while you're thinking about all those wonderful questions you might ask, and I encourage you to ask inside, ask that still small voice inside of you, is there something that I could ask or share? You can share too an experience or a breakthrough, an insight. That's awesome as well. And just listen to that inner voice and respond. But while I give you a few minutes to do that, I like to share these brief articles and collections of quotes from a website, inspiringquotes.com, where a group of authors write very inspired, timely, brief articles of just 3 or 4 brief paragraphs, and then a list of quotes from luminaries, mystics, authors, poets, and others that help to illustrate the subject. So tonight we're going to have 12 quotes about the power of empathy. And this comes from one of our favorite authors on Inspiring Quotes, which is Joyce Chen. Joyce Chen is a writer, editor, and community builder based in Seattle, Washington. And thank you very much, Joyce. We've just been so enjoying your articles and the quotes that you've shared with us. So, here's what Joyce says about proving the power of empathy. Empathy, like emotional intelligence, is a term that's used frequently, but can be difficult to define. It may be easier to describe empathy with examples rather than with words. A child sharing their lunch with a glum and hungry classmate, commiserating with a friend who's had a bad day at work, sending flowers to a colleague after they've lost a loved one. Empathy is about placing yourself in another person's situation and extending them care and support as a result. It's about unity and recognizing that we're all connected and similarly susceptible to inconveniences and tragedies. On an even more basic level, it's about really listening, paying attention to others' needs, and being open to learning about people who came from different backgrounds and cultures. When we show empathy toward one another, we also become better versions of ourselves, more attuned to the roles we play in society, and more knowledgeable of the ways in which we can help each other thrive. Here we've rounded up 12 quotes about what it means to show empathy, to inspire you to lead by example and practice this virtue in your daily life. So, let's dive in. Empathy is seeing with the eyes of another, listening with the ears of another, and feeling with the heart of another. Alfred Adler. If you can learn a simple trick, Scout, you'll get along a lot better with all kinds of folks. You never really understand a person until you consider things from his point of view, until you climb into his skin and walk around in it. Harper Lee, the one who wrote To Kill a Mockingbird, and a lot of other things. Learning to stand in somebody else's shoes, to see through their eyes, that's how peace begins. And it's up to you to make that happen. Barack Obama. If you see someone without a smile, give them yours. Dolly Parton. Attention is the rarest and purest form of generosity. Simone Weil. The state of empathy, or being empathic, is to perceive the internal frame of reference of another with accuracy and with the emotional components and meanings which pertain thereto, as if one were the person. You are the one, as if you were that person. Carl Rogers. Empathy is forgetting oneself in the joys and sorrows of another, so much that you actually feel that the joy or sorrow experienced by another is your own joy and sorrow. Empathy involves complete identification with another. Dada Vaswani. An exchange of empathy provides an entry point for a lot of people to see what healing feels like. Let me say that again. The exchange of empathy provides an entry point for a lot of people to see what healing feels like. Tarana Burke. Empathy comes from the Greek empathia. Into, and pathos, feeling. A penetration, a kind of travel. It suggests you enter another person's pain as you'd enter another country, through immigration and customs, border crossing by way of query. Quote, what grows where you are? What are the laws? What animals graze there? Leslie Jameson. Empathy begins with understanding life from another person's perspective. Nobody has an objective experience of reality. It's all through our own individual prisms. Sterling K. Brown. Too often we underestimate the power of a touch, a smile, a kind word, a listening ear, an honest compliment, or the smallest act of caring, all of which have the potential to turn a life around. Leo Buscaglia. No one reaches out to you for compassion or empathy so you can teach them how to behave better. They reach out to us because they believe in our capacity to know our darkness well enough to sit in the dark with them. Brene Brown. Wow. Well, Suzanne's back.
I'm back. It's good to be back.
Have anything you'd like to share?
So it was an amazing trip. Just not very planned out and very spontaneous. It was a girls' trip with my sister, my daughter, my niece, her 1-year-old son, my sister's 12-year-old granddaughter, and we went to Portland and then the Oregon coast, Lincoln City. We saw sea lions and whales and gray whales spouting from the view from our place that we got. And yeah, it was just really fun. Ended up in Spokane. I got to see my niece's place and my daughter. She's up there nannying for her baby, and got to look around Spokane. I'd never been there before. It was just all really beautiful, very, very beautiful. So, good trip.
And I really got tired, as much as I like them, of vegetarian baked beans with vegetarian fake hot dogs. It brought back my youth. God knows how many cans of baked beans and hot dogs I ate when I was younger, and it probably wasn't the healthy kind like this vegan stuff we're eating, but yeah, enough is enough. So I'm not seeing any questions tonight.
One cool thing that happened on my trip was before I left, I was looking at the weather and seeing that they were having heat waves and forest fires, and I thought, we've had so much rain down here. What if I set the intention and ask the divine to, not my will, but thy will be done, but I set a very, very strong intention that they get some cooler weather and some rain on that coast. And everywhere we went, it rained. I mean, it was pretty amazing. It was, yeah.
Because it was scorched earth out there.
Yeah, the lawns were all dry, and we saw some helicopters dipping down into the Columbia River and sucking up water to go fly over the fires, and
Wow.
and yeah, so that was really exciting. It was unexpected, but it was very strong intention, and that was pretty neat. One can make a difference, guys. Just get in alignment with God.
Indeed.
Yeah.
If you want to know more, you're going to have to ask. Or it'll be an early one. We'll just go into the intent blessings and the open eye light blessing and call it an evening. You know, we take the hard questions. We don't always answer them. We try. We don't do politics, you know, stuff like that. Which religion is better than all the rest? We don't do that. Okay, I'm going to refresh the page. Oh, Ekaterina. I think I have to be an empath to be in the shoes of the roles I play. Ekaterina is an actress of some renown in Mexico. And she's actually graced us with her presence right here at Flowering Heart Center, Florida. Okay. I think I have to be an empath to be in the shoes of the roles I play. But it's good to maybe absorb other energies. I can feel the energy of my father. And I have to ask him to close the doors, or I think close the doors also of my son when it's angry and I don't like it. Well, I'm not getting a clear picture, but
It makes sense.
yeah,
That does make sense. When we have people around us that are going through stuff or in turmoil or angry, and if that's a pattern of behavior for them, it does help to just, seclude yourself from that, especially if you're focused on work or memorizing lines or just, engaged in something. A lot of people, I think, don't realize how much psychic energy people give off, Sometimes I would joke with Michael. I'd wake up in the morning and notice him checking his phone, and I'm like, your brain is so loud. And there wasn't, I could hear him thinking. And I also, when we were on the road trip, my great nephew, I was playing with him. We were both in the middle seats, and I was keeping him entertained and occupied. And at one point, he really needed a nap, and he wasn't going to sleep. So I pretended to be asleep. But I also realized, too, especially around babies or more sensitive people, that you actually have to pull your energy in as if you were asleep. Because if you're still sitting there thinking and animated inside, the babies are going to pick up on that. And the more sensitive that we grow on the spiritual path, the more in tune and more interior quiet that we have, the louder people's thoughts become.
yeah. So the more clear our consciousness becomes, the more sensitive and the more our heart's open. Those
Right.
two things, intuition becomes very profoundly intense. And that can be difficult to handle. I remember the first time I went into a hospital with Suzanne.
Oh.
She's so sensitive and so intuitive that,
Yeah.
and a lot's going on in a hospital, as you know. So,
Yeah.
but I think that's probably the power at the core of empathy, is the depth of our compassion and intuition. And nice. And More says, Suzanne, you look nice after your vacations.
Thanks.
Aw.
I think one of the nice things about it was that we didn't have a bunch of stuff planned. So like one day we were all tired, so we just kind of took turns napping and watching the baby and looking at the ocean. And then another day we're like, oh, let's go visit the city. And so we went to Newport. And then another day we're like, oh, there's a lighthouse. Let's go see the lighthouse. It was just very, very spontaneous and very nice. Not a lot of busy, just a lot of being. And we all had time to connect with each other individually, separately, in twos or threes, or we played a lot of games together. It was just very precious time.
Stacy writes, just got home from 4-day road trip and emotionally exhausted. Hotel had a lot of bleak energy and I'm detoxing, so to speak. We'll ask questions next week.
We'll send extra blessings for the detox.
Welcome back, Suzanne, she also says.
Nice.
And More says, great. Yeah, it's inspired me. I realized when Suzanne was traveling how deeply enmeshed I've been in world events, feeling that I should be abreast of them because of being a spiritual leader and a person of prayer. But you know what? I could see, and I can see clearly the toll that that's taken. And I'm fasting world news. Yep, local news too. I'm just fasting news. And a lot of other things that were causing the blues or whatever. But yeah, I was just, last 4 years since COVID hit and certain changes happened, I just was like laser on the news of the world. And you know what? That's not such a healthy thing. So, coming clean.
Yeah, it's made a lot more clear when I was away that we didn't talk news, we didn't talk about anything except for what was going on in our lives and having fun and sharing and it's like, wow, the whole world's not going to fall apart if I don't know this stuff. And it also, it helps me focus on whatever intention I'm setting, because I'm focusing on the intentions. I'm focusing on the connection with the divine and not being, scatterbrained in so many different directions. So,
and our
fun.
mission isn't to fix the world.
No.
It's to touch one person at a time with light and love and to catalyze flowering and transformation in people. And that continues much, much better when I haven't just read about some horrendous war.
Right.
We all know that. Anyway, so Stacy said, excellent idea to break with the news. Amazing how I don't need it. Yeah, I know. I know. Amazing that I thought that was so important for a while. And I get it. If I lived in certain parts of the world, I probably would be much more need to be attuned. Anyway, alrighty then. I think it's time. And More only checks news once a day. Yeah, I get that. And that's probably a balance that works really well for you. And maybe there will be a balance at some point in my life, but I am so enjoying just being here and now and in the moment and letting that go. So, let you know how it all turns out. That's my detox. Ekaterina says, how can we re-energize when we feel depleted? I feel better after the centering prayer, full of energy, and then I go out of my room and again feel drained during the day. Yeah. Well, Thomas Keating says that as our emotions become triggered, the reservoir of interior silence that centering prayer produces gets drained. And the more intense the emotional energy, the quicker it gets drained. But how we can energize when we feel depleted is to stay connected to the divine presence, to keep returning to the divine presence. In your presence, God, is fullness of joy. And the joy of the Lord is our strength. Be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might, which is joy. And joy is only found in communion with presence, which is always there. It's the transcendent. It's just right there. And all we need to do is turn our attention and just take a few breaths, let everything go, and drink in the light that's pouring down from above to us constantly. Of course, an active prayer practice. Some people have an active prayer that during the day, whenever they notice they're getting depleted, they return to it, and it goes on continually, like the Eastern Orthodox prayer, Lord Jesus Christ, have mercy on me. The full one is, Lord Jesus Christ, Son of the living God, have mercy on me, a sinner. But, just Lord Jesus Christ, have mercy on me. And having mercy doesn't mean don't punish me. That word means to pour out your compassion and your help to me. So, and some people have a much simpler word, just God or presence. It doesn't need to be religious, but just by reconnecting, reorienting that connection. Christ said, when your eye is single, your body is filled with light. And that's energizing and strengthening and uplifting. So I highly recommend that. But, take time for your spiritual practice. Sometimes, when we get busy, we'd rather do anything than meditate or center or something. But how important and rewarding it is just to take a break. And maybe for you it would just be to take a walk in the garden or just to stop and open, to nature. So it's not just one size fits all. But in terms of letting go of that which is depleting us, we learned in India that, first, whatever we resist causes us to suffer. There's a lot of stuff we don't want to feel and think about, and it constantly is getting triggered. And when we resist it, it persists and it keeps getting triggered. But that resistance to feeling or to thinking about something drains us, and it leads to depression. We can actually end up depressed because of resistance. And so these are things you'll be experimenting with and learning about in your own life many ways for, I'm sure, many years to come. We all will. So, well, that's a great question. Yeah. So there you go. But back to that, since you mentioned centering prayer and how it makes you full of energy, if you go out of your room and get drained during the day before you get to come back and do a second session, it's recommended that you would lengthen the period of time a bit. I mean, not hours, but instead of 20 minutes, maybe 30 minutes. It makes a huge difference, and you'll find that inner peace, that reservoir of inner peace, doesn't get depleted as fast. So just be consistent, and if you're losing your peace halfway through the day, maybe you want to just rest in the presence a little bit longer before you go out of your room. Okay. Anything else? Okay. So let's all close our eyes and open our hearts and invoke the presence within. The outer world is merely a reflection of the universe that exists within you. I always like to quote Rumi that you're not a drop of the ocean of God, you are the entire ocean in a drop. It's all inside. And this divine presence, this divine being, this supreme being that dwells within you at the center of your being, of your spiritual heart, is pure unconditional love. It knows everything about us. It's all-knowing, all-wise, and all-powerful. And yet, even knowing all of our faults and knowing the future, the divine sees past, present, and future simultaneously, and knows all the mistakes, all of the errors that we're ever going to make and fall. And the divine loves us unconditionally anyway, like a loving parent would love a child who's growing up and going through growing pains. So let this divine being love you. Sometimes we judge ourselves, and we project that on God and feel distant, feel the light dim. That's all in the mind. It's not reality. The divine never distances itself from you. In the presence you live and you move and you have your being. It yearns to embrace you with its loving arms and draw you into the center of divine union. Just allow it. Consent to it. Let go. And let the divine presence draw you in and transform you. It knows what you're going to ask before you ask. It knows what you need before you know what you need. It's fine, and sometimes it's important to ask. But the divine already knows, and in this moment, you don't even need to ask. Just receive the flowering heart blessing that is pouring out to you, pouring out within you, pouring down from above you, flowing to you from every direction, rising up like a fountain within you. Just drink it in. Breathe it in and soak it up, and let it set you free from feelings of separation and duality and distance, illusions, horrible illusions of the mind. Let this light shine in your spirit to illuminate you and shine out through the realm of your soul, the mind, the thoughts, the emotions, the programming. This divine presence can melt all that wrong thinking and clear your emotions and clear your mind and clear your programming and replace it with divinely inspired thoughts and feelings and plans. Let it be. It shines out of your spirit through your soul into your physical body to heal all dis-ease. Receive your healing. Spirit, soul, and body. It yearns to shine through your spirit, your soul, your body, and out into your relationships to heal them. Let it be. Let this presence heal you through and through and shine through your life as a light in the world. More contagious than any negativity or darkness is the light of your awakened heart, shining through all the layers of your being and your body and your relationships out into the world. So contagious. Let the divine make you that light in the world. Visualize, imagine us sitting in a circle together with our eyes closed. Lift up your hands with your palms open, turned forward, and let us invite the divine to pour the flowering heart blessing through every one of us to all the others in the circle. As the blessing flows through you to another person, to others, it transforms you as it flows through you. Drink it up. There's no limit. It never ends. Just keep taking in the blessing. Visualize the beautiful planet Earth, the translucent blue pearl in space, a living planet, alive itself, full of living beings. As Suzanne was sharing, too much fire at the moment. Let us take a strong intention for the living waters of the Divine Presence to cool the fires, to put out the wildfires, to replenish the earth, especially the passion that burns too hotly in the human heart. Let it be chilled. Let it be healed with love and unity throughout the earth. Now when you're ready, relax and rest your hands in your lap somewhere. And open your eyes and begin to make direct eye contact with Suzanne and or me. Just keep gazing at least one of our eyes. That's your only job. You don't need to ask for anything. During the light meditation, Suzanne and I are flooded with oceans of grace and love and light. And it flows through every part of our being to you, especially through our eyes, which mystics have called the windows of the soul. The light of divine consciousness shines out through our eyes. And if you just keep looking, it shines in through your eyes, into your spiritual heart of hearts, causing the light of awakening and the fire of divine love to burn brighter and brighter and brighter within you, transforming you through and through. Just keep looking. you close your eyes now, meditate with us for a few more minutes as the grace we've received settles within. Meditating as long as you like. Or you could lie down in Shavasana. That's a yoga pose where you find a place to lie comfortably on your back. Close your eyes. Keep your arms loosely at your sides with the palms open, turned upward. And just let yourself dissolve in gratitude in the presence.
Much love, light, and blessings.
We love you so much. And these times together are so precious. Until we meet again, know that we behold the divine within you. And we bow to you.
Namaste.
Namaste.